Hello my friends and welcome to Duel Trial Season 5 Part 1, or also known as the Duel Trial for June 2023. Yeah, let's get right into it. By the way, also please like, share, and subscribe, and consider the notification bell for either regular content by selecting the bell and selecting personalized. That will notify you of all of my content that you like watching the most, or you can select the bell and select all to just be notified of all my content as it comes out, which right now is mostly Mastodon. Or if you don't want to be notified of anything, like maybe you're just subscribing to be nice and you don't want to be notified of any of my videos, you can select the bell and select none. Okay, and if you want to trade subscriptions, you can always let me know down in the comments, and I'll subscribe to you, and you can subscribe to me. And you don't necessarily have to watch my stuff, because a subscription is still gonna go a long ways, especially if you stay subscribed to me. I may or may not know, depending on your settings, if you stay subscribed to me. I'm just hoping you do. But if I do see that you unsubscribed, I'm not sure if I can really see that, so I may just not unsubscribe from you. But, I mean, I will tell you, like, I usually don't unsubscribe from people, especially if I know that we made a deal like this, like, maybe later, once, like, I'm already in the golden seat, like far into the future, I can like unsubscribe. But I mean, for like the time being, it'd probably be best if we just stay subscribed, especially if you're also new. Like that just helps. I know that helps you out as well. Yeah. So anyway, this is the first deck here. It's called Decisive Dogmatika. And the deck description reads: a deck based around Dogmatika ritual monsters. With Dogmatika Macabre, you can special summon Dogmatika ritual monsters using fusion and sync monsters in the graveyard. Send cards from your extra deck to the graveyard using cards such as Nadir's Servant to prepare for the ritual summon. In addition, Dogmatika ritual monsters such as Dogmatika Albaz have effects that send cards in you or your opponent's extra deck to the graveyard. Understand your opponent's tactics and accurately exploit the weaknesses. Yeah, I don't think I really like this event all that much, because I think like all of these events like had a lot of moving parts, a lot of like different combo lines you can do. I don't really like using decks that have a lot of different combo lines you can go through. I don't know, I just felt these decks like just had a bunch of different combo lines. Like I like playing the more straightforward deck where you're basically trying to get to the same end state. I feel like I mean, I think they did a really good job giving. I think these decks are definitely some of the stronger decks they like allowed us to play with for a while. I just didn't really like that there were so many different combo lines. I don't know. But they did seem like they're like pretty fine decks. Like I mean, and if you like playing like with a bunch of combo lines, like a bunch of like different ways you can play it, like I mean that I'm sure maybe you had a lot more fun than I did. One cool thing that I didn't realize is that Herald the Arc Light, like, and Elder Entity Natis, they're not, their effects when they're sent to the graveyard aren't on hard once per turns. So if you send multiple, you can get, like, either multiple searches in the form of Herald of the Arc Light, or multiple destructions in the form of Elder Entity Natis. That's pretty cool. But yeah, and then there's also this one does have a hard once per turn. Anyway, Dogmatika Ecclesia the Virtuous. Um, Another thing about this deck running around is that like sometimes like you can be playing this and like your opponent is gonna be on this, and so like there's like cards that like have both players send cards from the extra deck to the graveyard, and that effect actually kind of stinks when you're playing against a mirror. So if you are playing against a mirror, you kind of, I think, want to try not to use the effects that also has your opponent sending 2 extra deck monsters to the graveyard. Maybe. And if you do, maybe like just make sure that you don't have anything like that you would be too unhappy about losing. Otherwise, maybe don't. Like, there's other effects that, like, only has you sending. And, I mean, there's effects that, like, has you sending something specific to you from your opponent's extra deck to the graveyard. And when it comes to those effects, those are actually pretty good. Because, like, you can just send, something that doesn't have a graveyard effect. Because I don't think they're gonna really be able to get it back very easily. I mean, it does kind of help set things up for the Nexus if you do that. Or, I mean, set things up for, like, Maximus, since they can just banish whatever you sent. But, I mean, they're probably gonna get these, effects up pretty easily anyway. You're still, like, robbing them of something that maybe they could have, like, went into later on. Because, like, once it's sent to the graveyard, they're probably not going to get back into the X-Deck or get onto the field. They don't really have a way to special summon, I don't think. But even if they did, they can't, like, special summon like a fusion or sync-up from the graveyard that wasn't properly summoned from the X-Deck first. So, yeah. So, like, these are probably fine targets, like, especially the one-ofs aren't too bad. Because then they're probably not going to go into them. And I don't think this deck really goes into that Omega very much. I think it's mostly just the fusions. Although it can. And then also Quintet might be a good target to, like, try. Because then, like, they could maybe fairly easily go into this. And you don't want to even give them the chance, I don't think. Because this card is kind of annoying if they do bring it out. Yeah, because it also can't be destroyed by card effects. So, there's no, you can't, like, just punishment it or notice it. So yeah, anyway, yeah, a few of these aren't really normally played. I don't know if you really need to, like, play these necessarily. I think some of the better ones, like, these are just one-ofs anyway. But, like, I never really used them. I guess it is pretty cool that you, like, this guy can't be destroyed by bio with monster special from the X deck. But I still don't really use them. They only have, like, minor effects. There's, like, a lot better targets to add with the Ecclesia. Like, I liked adding him because he has a negation effect. This guy's pretty nice, like, if you're not playing against the Dogmatika. Although the Springan's deck also has, a fusion, the Sprin that's kind of similar to Titanic Clad that, like, can get out the Fallen of Albaz or Springans instead of Fallen of Albaz or Dogmatika. So yeah. But, like, I mean, like, then, I mean, what's the other thing that they're gonna be sending? I mean, they have a lot of, like, 3-ofs. Like, I think that might be another problem. Like, even, like, no matter what deck you're playing it with, they have a lot of 3-ofs. So this is probably not going to really even hurt them that much. But I suppose this one can still kind of hurt. But again, like, with so many 3-ofs, like, what is this going to do? Like, I suppose this can hurt the Abyss Actors deck a little bit. Because, like, if they have, like, a lot of Pendulum monsters, that can also count. And then they have to send a lot more. But, like, with a regular X deck of 15 cards, that's about 7. And, like, how many 3-ofs, like, can you be adding? 1, 2... I mean, they can just do, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and then 7. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, they can get rid of just a bunch of duplicates. So, like, Zoa doesn't really hurt them either, like, all that much. Like, it may just hurt the Abyss Actors the most if they, like, stockpiled a lot of Pendulums in the X deck. Since it does also count those. Since they don't have to be face down X deck cards. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's really that big of a deal. Oh yeah, and I did. Well, I don't know, actually. Oh yeah, and I did try activating this against my opponent, and I believe that people are wrong with how this card works. I think they do get to choose which of these effects they want to do as well. Like, they can choose whether they want to send the X deck cards or return the cards. But I believe you can't choose the second. I believe the opponent still won't be able to choose the second effect if they don't have any of those, like, if they don't have any fusion, synchros, exceeds, or links on their field, which may not come up a lot, but when it does, like, I mean, I guess you could, like, force them. But if they don't have any of those on the field, like, I mean, I guess you could bring this out turn 1 when you know they pretty much won't, like, unless they, like, were able to somehow, like, maybe they're Telements and they were able to get it during your turn. But, like, for most decks wouldn't have these X deck monsters, so maybe, like, you could do that and then, like, force them to have to choose the first effect. Because I don't think you can choose the second effect if you don't have any, like, targets to send back. Anyway, these other cards, like this one, I think this one's mostly going to be used for the quick effect fusion. Like, you can use this to bring out the Synchro, but I think it's better served just, like, fusion summoning. And maybe eventually being able to fusion summon for the Quintet, for that board wipe. That's, like, only board wiping your opponent's field. And, like, even if you bring out, even if you put some of your big guys into the graveyard, it might still be worth just bringing this out, just because it has a pretty good board wipe, and it's a little bit hard to destroy. Like, it kind of gets around a lot of the, like, destruction effects, like the punishment and then Tis, and I think that's probably some of their best plays, maybe. They don't really have a lot of ways of just, like, simply sending without destroying, I don't believe. So anyway, but they do have ways of getting around it, since it can still be targeted. So they still have ways of getting around it. Can this be destroyed by Bow? Yeah, it can still be destroyed by Bow, so, like, so there's definitely ways to get around it. Like, this deck can just utilize this. Because you can target the White Relic and target the Quintet, and then the Quintet. and then the right relic can just gain the attack of the quintet, so now it can just beat over it. And then there's also this one, which maybe can beat over it too if you give it enough attack, although that might be a little bit harder to make happen. This one's probably a lot easier to be able to beat over it. And then Nexus is also kind of cool. Also, like, Quintet can get around Nexus, but like Nexus is kind of cool, like, cause like there's gonna be a lot of special summoning, so that's pretty cool. And like the other ones don't have to be special summoned, they just have to be an attack. So that's pretty cool. So you could like board wipe the opponent if they weren't thinking about like putting them in defense, which they may not think about that because like there's not really a ton of cards that like are going to destroy attack position since there's no lightning storm being played. And also link monsters can't be in defense position, so there's also that. Yeah, but that might be a reason you might want to put stuff into defense, just in case. Like, you don't want to be faced with like a Nexus that can just destroy all your stuff. And this one's kind of nice. It allows you to carry your Dogmatika card. So this is a way to... I guess you don't have any fusion Dogmatikas, but this is a way to get back your ritual Dogmatikas or your regular effect monster Dogmatikas that aren't the rituals. Anyway. And then I kind of already talked about Albazoa. Kind of talked about White Knight. Pre-preparation of rights to get both of them to, like, it's kind of a better herald since you get both instead of just one or the other. Yeah. And then Nadia Servant for adding stuff while also being able to trigger one of your X-Deck monsters, like whichever one you want to do. If you want destruction, if you want to add like the missing piece, you can always send Herald, since this will only grab one of the missing pieces. If you need both, you also can just send Herald. You can also just send Titaniclad to get a special summon during the end phase. Probably not a bad idea to special summon Ecclesia so you can get that search. And then Dogmaticism, just a quick spell. Yeah, equip spell for a Dogmatika that can raise the attack. Oh, I guess you can also equip it to opponent's monsters too, and then they could lose attack. There's also that. And also it's kind of nice, like, forcing something to lose attack, and then you destroy them afterwards, because it would also destroy this card. So, and then you would be able to send a monster from your exit to the graveyard because of that. So that's pretty cool. So you might want to just equip it to an opponent's monster that you can then destroy bow most of the time, so that you can get that extra effect. It's not as permanent that way, but it lets you get the other effect, which is probably a bigger deal. But you can still equip it to something to give it, like, I mean, it's pretty good if you equip it to Albazoa, since that's a level 12, so then it will just gain 1200 attack, which still isn't really a lot, but like that may be able to like lead to game. Dogmatika Nation just simply makes it so that neither player can target the Dogmatika with effects that was special summoned from the X deck. So it doesn't really bypass the Eldentity Natis destruction. But I mean it can keep them from being targeted by effects of fusions that are actually being special summoned, which I mean there's still gonna be quite a few, like I mean even in this deck there's probably gonna be fusion, probably mostly fusion summoning going on. So I mean it still can somewhat help with this deck. I mean, and even if you don't need that targeting, it's also got the other effects as well, like allowing you to just straight up destroy something. Maybe if you're attacking into defense position and it's not being destroyed. I mean, and then there's also, once again, the send X deck monster to the grave. And then here's the ritual spells. One allows you to ritual summon a Dogmatika from your graveyard, and the other, I think it's just from your hand. So that's pretty nice. You have like both places covered. Both of the more common places covered. You're not always gonna be able to get the second effect, but I mean even just like for ritual summoning is still pretty nice. And also the effect that lets you banish fusion synchros is pretty nice. This one also lets you send a monster from your exit to graveyard, so like they also have kind of synergy within themselves. Brandon's Central Dogmatika. See, these are the cards that let you basically choose a monster to send to the graveyard, instead allowing your opponent to pick, which is like better anyway, like since you can now just send the one of if they're playing a one of. Dogmatika Punishment. Yeah, this is pretty nice, since if you send an Natis, you can like a lot of the time just get double destruction, or you can like send the Titanic Clad Evolved to get some searching or special summoning going on. And then Encounter can recur your stuff or special summon your stuff, but I think recurring is most of the time what you want to do with this card. Genesis, it's pretty nice that it allows you to put back your banish fusion, since you are going to be banishing it with Maximus or with Nexus, so you'll definitely be able to have that be live and then just gotta negate something. Although you do have to deal with where your opponent controls a monster of the same type, which might not always gonna be the case if like the opponent's on like Exceeds, or maybe like a Link for the Abyss Actors. So you might just be out of luck if you're like playing against Abyss Actors or Springan, since they might not go into fusions as much. But I mean it's good against this, since like this deck definitely goes into fusions. And it's okay that it's a one of then. And then this also can ritual summon something. It can also like help add stuff, recur stuff from the graveyard, the extra destruction, extra special summoning power. Quartus can just like change everything to 0, like a lot of like probably pretty much everything. Even your stuff, like a lot of your stuff might be changed to 0 since like you may not be able to very easily bring out more than one. But at least this guy would be guaranteed not to go to 0. And then Dust Dragon allows you to send something else from your deck or deck to the graveyard. I think... Oh wait, no, you can send the rituals, which is like good, like if you have the one that can ritual summon something from the graveyard. Or you can just send the Titanic Clad if you want to get that spell summon. And then this one can just like allow you to like get stuff from your opponent's graveyard. It's pretty nice that like it's not just fusions, but it's also synchros exceeds a link, so you should definitely always have a target. And I think you might want to just spell summon most of the time. It's pretty nice. And then Quintet Magician, yeah, just destroying everything. More searching, and then Omega for getting rid of stuff from your opponent's hand temporarily. Like that's what kind of stinks. I don't know. I don't know how like really needed this effect is. It does allow you to recur your banish cards, so that's the bigger appeal. Yeah, but I think like besides like getting back your banned stuff, it's not really needed. And then here's the second one, Decisive Battle of Golgonda. This deck description reads, a machine type deck based around Springan's monsters that has been strengthened with the addition of new cards. You can use the effect of Great Saiyan Sea Golgonda to special summon Springan's Exceed monster from the X deck. The goal is to call forth gigantic Chopian Sargass, a powerful monster that can also be Exceed summoned by sacking on top of a Springan's Exceed monster. Yeah, so pretty much the whole goal of this deck is to get the Golgonda to your hand so that you can like cheat out your extra deck monsters, because this simply allows you to discard one of your Springan's cards in your hand to special summon one, like, which is like probably you're wanting to bring out this most of the time. Like, I mean, this has a pretty good effect too. Actually, this might not be a bad one to bring out if like you're going second, your opponent has set up some kind of board. But like this one is a pretty nice exceed for using when going first, like, because like probably either way you're probably gonna be putting gigantic Chopian Sargass on them. But one thing to note is this does not count as a Springan's, so I missed the ball a few times with that, because like I could have attached some of my Springan's cards to the Merrymaker before I went to Gigantic, but I didn't realize I went to Gigantic before I did, and then suddenly I wasn't able to, because now I no longer have a Springan's Exceed that I can attach them to. Yeah, so definitely the better play would have been like doing that first and then bring out the Champion Sargass, because you don't actually lose materials. You just transfer whatever materials it had to this card. So whatever you like attach to it, like it's still gonna be attached when you're going into Gigantic Champion Sargass. I think you pretty much always just want to go straight from like either Merrymaker or Explorer to Sargass, just because he has a pretty like good skew of effects, allowing you to add a Springan's Therion card, which also will allow you to add the Regulus, which also can be a pretty free negate, since you should have a machine to banish. Unfortunately, it doesn't negate and destroy, it just negates, and you pretty much have to like send himself to the graveyard, since you're not really playing a big Therion. And there's not like a ton of easy ways to bring him out again. once he's sent to the graveyard. I mean, technically you have Smashers, but you only have one of that. So yeah, probably not. And I think, I mean, that might not be a bad idea, bringing out the Saga, the Regulus using Smashers, like, if you have the Regulus in the graveyard. But you can also use this to bring out Springans. You're not going to be using it for the banishing stuff since you don't have any level rank or link 2s. Anyway. Yeah, and then like Planet Pathfinder is just there to help you get out Great CNC Golgonda. So yeah, plenty of ways of being able to like make sure you have Great CNC Golgonda as soon as possible. There's also, I don't think this can add it, but this can add it. And if you already have it, you get to add a Springan's monster instead. So that's pretty nice. And then there's also Super Polymerization, which is actually not bad. Because like, because like this, like, pretty much any deck is probably gonna have an effect monster special summon. Oh, it has to be special summoned this turn, though. So maybe it's not going to be like super easy for some of the decks. I don't know. Not the best materials for super polymerization. But I guess it can get rid of like opponents like Fallen of Albaz as well. Like maybe you can get rid of like an opposing Fallen of Albaz before it's used to bring out something with. Although you could still use it to like out like for example a Quintet Magician if they use. Yeah, so you might just want to wait. Like if you have a Fallen of Albaz of your own, you might just want to wait until they bring out one of their fusions and then use super polymerization to get rid of that fusion. And then it kind of outs them of 2 monsters instead of just 1. But if you don't have Fallen of Albaz already, I mean, if you don't have Fallen of Albaz yourself at that time, maybe like then like just like out there Fallen of Albaz like that the Dogmatika play is playing. This might, I don't think, I'm not sure if this is like necessarily as good with the Abyss actors though, since I don't think they technically do a whole bunch of special summoning on your turn. But you can still just activate this during their turn. So there's also that. So yeah, it should work either way. I wasn't even thinking. Anyway, there's also the Springan's cards, which is mostly going to be used to give your Exceeds more materials, although they do have some nifty effects when they're either being summoned or maybe sent to the graveyard, or like when they tribute themselves. Like this one allows you to special summon the Springans, which is also nice since it can target your Springans Exceeds as well, although unfortunately not the gigantic champion, but that's okay because you have 3 of these guys. So like you just bring out the Exceeds, you're gonna have another one most likely to bring out. You're probably not going to be going into your train stuff too terribly much, but like it is there in case you do. And since like all of your monsters are level 4, a lot of them are level 4, you're probably, I mean, you might actually like, yeah, that's not so bad. But I think mostly you focus on your Springan's exec plays. Although this isn't bad if you just want to get game. Like if your opponent has a bunch of like attack position monsters and you can just go for game, you can also do that. And then Pedor. Yeah, see, I think I had talked about that. Yeah, and then this can also help you recur the exceeds, but most likely you're probably just gonna recur your main deck Springan, since like you have like so many copies of the exceeds in your X deck already. I don't think you really need to recur those. Springan's brothers. Yeah, this is another way to special summon your exceeds or just any of your other Springan's monsters. I mean, it's pretty easy to trigger with the Great CNC Golgonda. Springan's kit. Yeah, see, it allows you to special summon it. And it's a pretty, and actually, are you even, yeah, here's a fallen, yeah, this becomes Fallen of Albaz. So, like, this could make for a pretty easy rank 4 if you know summon this and then special summon this. Although, like, there are other ways you can make some pretty easy rank 4s. Actually, maybe not. I mean, if you use the Springan's Brothers and then you have another level 4, you can do that. And then that's another way. Also, it's kind of cool that the Planet Pathfinder is also level 4. Also, Planet Pathfinder works pretty well with... Hold on. What does it work pretty well with? Oh, it works pretty well with Brain in High Spirits, since it's counted as a machine. And wait, how? Maybe not. What? Oh, with the same type. Yeah, see, because this counts as a machine, and that's also a machine. So it also works if you just want to discard Planet Pathfinder if you don't really need to use it. So yeah, there's also some synergy there. And then Albaz the Ashen, you're probably not using him for his, like, attack gain effect very much. Although I guess that protection from targeting effects can be pretty nice. But you're mostly using him so you have like so you have like that Fall of Albaz for Sprint. Although I'm not sure how much you really are caring about going to your fusion, but like you definitely can go into it occasionally. And then Bronga is a way to search for the Springans. Captain Sargos is a pretty nice special summon, because then during the opponent's turn it allows you to detach the material from an exceed to destroy a face-up card. This is also a pretty nice way, like waiting for your opponent to activate Great CNC Golgonda, and then they lose that activation because it got destroyed and it needs to stay on the field in order to bring out that exceed. So that's pretty nice. And then also, like, with using this and then detaching material from Gigantic Champion Sargos allows you to destroy another card on the field. And with this, it can also be face down, so that's pretty cool. And then Foolish Burial can send one of your Springan's guys to the graveyard. You can also send the Albaz, so you can like make sure you can like special summon this, so you don't have to waste a normal summon this. Although it still work on normal summon, so that's cool. Although you do only have 2 targets. You have the Brandon White and the Brandon High Spirits. Those are your only 2 targets, by the way. Not sure how big of a deal that is, but just to think about. Since it's also from the graveyard, like, you'll probably, like, you should always be able to, like, I mean, I guess if you did have both in hand, it may be something to think about, because if you don't summon at that point, you won't be able to add anything. Springan's Watch, yeah, like, allows you to add a Springans and then send a Springans. Both are fine. because you don't mind, like, you can just send the brothers to the graveyard if you have another Springans in the grave to then spell summon that other Springans. If not, you can also send the Bringer, so maybe you can get a search later on, or you can send this so that you can, like, if you have a way that you can maybe like spell summon from the graveyard. Yeah. And then Brandon White, yeah, see, this is one of the ways to fusion. This is the other way to fusion the Spring. Super optimization might be the slightly better way, though. Even though, like, this isn't searchable, though, so that's what this has going for it. This disrupts the opponent, but this is searchable. Also, you can reset it, unlike the super polymerization. And then Great CNC Golgonda, yeah, allows you to bring out your exceeds. That's basically the major piece for the deck. This one, basically negates effects. Although this is the Springan's Blast is kinda the better negator. Just when into your opponent's normal summon something in a zone that you want to negate, and then you can just pick to negate it. Although the only thing is, if they are somehow able to like make it leave the field, as this is like about to be resolved, they still get the effect. It's kind of like how infinite impermanence needs to like ensure that it stays on the field in order to be able to like actually negate the effects. But still, it's probably gonna negate the effects often enough. Yeah, this one is just a little bit more situational, since like an exceed needs to leave the field, and your opponent can see this coming in like this. So yeah. I mean, and since you're going into Gigantic Champion Sagas a lot, you probably, I guess, like, since you have, like, you actually have the fusion, you can at least get the effects, which allows you to send the fusion to the graveyard. Although the Merrymaker is the one that has a fusion send effect. So maybe if you like do have like booty up, maybe you don't go into Gigantic Champion Sagas. I mean, you lose that destruction, so I'm not sure how worth it is. But at least now, like, you can be able to make sure that booty can activate pretty easily. Although another cool thing about going into Gigantic Champion Sagas is since it no longer since it doesn't count itself as a spring and succeed, you can like use this again on another turn. And then Decisive Battle of Golgonda allows you to send a fusion. Yeah. It protects your cards, basically. I gotta hurry this up. Brandon searches for your Fallen of Albaz, or your Springan's Kid if you'd rather search for that. Sprite Smashers can either get back your Regulus, or get back, or put Springans from your deck to field. Tally Ho allows you to search for at least one Springans, maybe more. But like probably like one or two most of the time. But also allows you to special summon a Springans. As long as you detach material, which is a pretty good way to special summon this on the opponent's turn. Springan's Call allows you to yeah, basically recur your Springans of Fallen Albaz. Probably most of the time the Springans. And then Blast, I talked about. Interluder. Yeah, it's another way to negate stuff. Also special summon. Like, it's also another way to get back your Regulus. So there's that. Or the Captain Sargus. Sprin. Yeah, I don't know if it really... like, I mean, it's destruction. Dreadnought is there to basically help get you into your lead play if you want to go for a quick OTK. Merrymaker, I kind of talked about that. Explorer. Yeah, this is the one that allows you to destroy stuff on your opponent's field, and then Sargus can also destroy something. It can also give you a way to add your Regulus, which is pretty good, because Regulus isn't bad since it does have that negate. And then Fantastic Theater is the last deck. Deck description reads: an Abyss Actor deck centered around Fiend-type Pendulum monsters. The Abyss Actor cards that support the Abyss script have a powerful effect that can be activated when destroyed by an opponent. By preparing the field spell Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Theater using Abyss Actor's Super Producer, you can make the opponent destroy the Abyss script card. Make full use of various effects to bamboozle your opponent's victory. Oh, you know what? I think I should be fine with showing the replays on another day, because I forgot I can just save them. So that's pretty cool. So I can just do that. And I think maybe I will, so I can make sure I have time for the replays. And then also, so actually maybe there will be a part 2. I forgot I could just do that. So I think I will do that. I mean, it'll be after the fact, but like this event is kind of almost over anyway, and it'll probably be like real close to being over by the time I upload this. So I guess this is more just like you're just getting my thoughts more than anything. This is maybe more of a review of the decks than like trying to give you tips for how to get it done. So sorry about that this time. Just running into some issues with time sometimes. Like, I'm not always gonna be able to get the videos out at exactly a good time. Anyway, Abyss Actor Funky Comedian's the first card. This just like extra attack, which can be nice like when you're kind of going for game also. Yeah, kind of more about like just either giving itself extra attack or like giving a different Abyss Actor extra attack. Abyss Actor extras. I mean, it's kind of like the opposite to Current Razor, since Current Razor... Oh wait, if you control no of the monsters. Never mind. Your opponent can still control a monster with this. So this one is pretty nice. It just... if you're going second, this is pretty much a free special summon, since it doesn't matter if you control a monster. Yeah. And then this just allows you to place Abyss Actors into from your deck into the X deck, which is good, and then you can like set up like pendulum plays. Trendy Understudy allows you, it also is a way to make sure you have a target for this guy. Either special summoning it or adding it to your hand. And then Comic Relief, this is the one that can like give itself to your opponent. I'm not exactly sure why you would want to. But it also can like switch controller stuff. So there's also that, like you could switch control of one of your small guys for one of your opponent's big guys. Lesser Pendulum. Just, I mean, you have a lot of duplicates, so its like effect will probably be pretty good most of the time. And then the actual monster effect doesn't really matter too much because you only really have one fusion. And except Draco Slayer. Yeah, so he wouldn't be able to be fusion for this guy. But besides that, like, it really doesn't matter since you're mostly just playing Lynx anyway. Abyss Actor Sassy Rookie can like destroy itself in place of a different Abyss Actor. This is helpful. I mean, probably not gonna be mean to use it if you're destroying some. Oh wait, no, it's only by opponent's card effect. Yeah, basically protects your stuff. Wow. I guess it also is able to get a spell summon when it is destroyed as a monster effect. So that's one of the ones that can like do something when it's destroyed. This is another card that can do something when it's destroyed. So these ones are pretty nice because you do have ways of destroying them on your own, so you can get the effects a little earlier without having to wait on an opponent destroying them. And then Wild Hope, changing Abyss Actor's Pendulum Scale, which allows you to pendulum summon more monsters, basically. Yeah, and then also it also has a when it's destroyed by battle card effect. Okay, so that's cool. Another one that gives you advantage for destroying it. Twinkle Little Star. Multi-attacker. I mean, that's kind of cool. Yes. Current Razor can be like a free special summon, but only if you have no monsters. So if you already like set up a board, this is not going to be as useful. But it still allows you to like send like trade off an Abyss script for an Abyss Actor in your X deck. Liberty Dramatist. Another one that can special summon itself to an opponent's field. Oh, but like, oh, that's why, because then like you get Abyss scripts whenever you do that. Kaidan Kendo Spirit. I guess it is a way to send. So this can be a way to bypass the Quintet Magician protection. So that's cool. Abyss Actor Superstar. Yeah, another way of getting out your Abyss scripts. Also can lock down opponent spells and traps. Astrograph Sorcerer. I don't know if you're playing Stargazer, so you're probably not getting that. I don't know. There's a lot. So I guess it's mostly maybe being used for... You're probably mostly just using it for scale, I guess. I don't know. Mellow Madonna. Oh yeah, adding... Yeah, see, this one can add Pendulum Abyss Actors. So this one searches them from the decks. That's nice. What's a Pendulum's effect? Oh, yeah. Also, she can special summon stuff from the deck. So that's cool. Evil Heal. Yeah, having the opponent's monsters lose attacks, so draining attack. Which can also be pretty helpful for if you're wanting to go for game and your opponent has attack position monsters. Or simply to get past something with high attack, like that Quintet Magician, for instance. And then Fantasy Magazine. I guess this is good for if your opponent happens to be playing like defense position monsters. But I don't think they really do that a lot. So I don't know. It doesn't really seem that useful. Abyss Script Opening Ceremony. It simply just gains you life points. Although they do have powerful like effects when they're destroyed while they're set, which can actually be triggered pretty easily with the field spell. Which can be like gone pretty easily with the super producer. Yeah, this one makes it so that the opponent's monster effect becomes destroy a set spell or trap your opponent controls, and since it becomes that, it will be treated as if your opponent destroyed it. I really gotta hurry this up. So here, I'll just show you them. I'm sorry, I can't really explain anymore. I kind of ran out of time. So here's the cards. I'm sorry guys, I ran out of time. But I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that notification bell for regular content. I'll have to make this a second part, but it'll be fine because I can just save those replays. So I'll still be able to show you that. So that'll be pretty nice. And then also like I also have the part saved where I open the packs. So I'll still be able to show you that. So that'll be nice. But yeah. I'll leave the verse in the description. Hopefully by the end of the week I'll have that, as well as the verse discussion and pinned comment, as well as the thank you notes. But that'll do it for today's video. Bye.